How's it going, everybody? Brian Cusco here at Triple B, and today our guest is Mr. Rob Riesenman or Riesenman. Sorry, Rob, it's one of those two, I almost guarantee it. And he's going to be our first guest to start off this next section of Pomona Reptile Super Show interviews. And as I had mentioned in a previous video, we're going to make sure to always have animals in these videos, in these interviews, whenever possible, unless it's an exception like when Gavin comes from the UK or something, he doesn't have any animals with him. We'll make an exception there, but I had been mentioning that I really wanted to make sure we always had animals as part of the interview, and so that's going to be happening in these interviews. This first one is going to be with Rob and his dubia roaches, and I was curious where you guys draw the line at with animals. If you could leave a comment down below and let me know where you draw the line at animals, you know, like animal kingdom, plant kingdom. Like for me, basically, I don't know, maybe I consider an amoeba an animal, any single-celled organism an animal. Because I even hear some people say, like, when I call a snake an animal, they're like, why do you call it an animal? Because it is an animal. It's a snake. Like, yeah, a snake is an animal. But, you know, I'm curious for you, where do you draw the line as far as what is an animal? Is it insects? Amoebas? Leave a comment down below. Okay, I've sped on long enough. Let's get into it. You're watching Triple B TV.
Roaches.
So you guys are the biggest.
I think we're the largest breeder in the United States. Yeah.
Wow, that must be pretty big. And are you a reptile keeper? Or
Yes, I do. Actually, I used to. Well, I keep now more to prove out the food. So I keep chameleons, leopard geckos, and bearded dragons. That way, if there's any problems with our feed, that we'll know it right away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How do you determine something like that? How do you?
Just if they have ailments, if they start to walk funny, you know, if they have MBD, stuff like that. Just eye problems of chameleons.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. You know, I think I read something about, there was a story somewhere, you guys up in Sac somewhere?
Yeah, right.
Well, there was some kind of article, I don't remember what it was about necessarily, but I saw the name in the
lawsuit article?
Maybe that's what, is that a good thing for you to talk about?
Well, yeah, I can talk about that actually,
Okay.
since we won the case.
Okay, yeah.
So what it was is one of my friends actually was working with me. I've known him for like 8 years. Him and his wife decided to, well, I think his wife put him up to it, but they started stealing my inventory and in my intellectual property and opened up a competing warehouse down in Sacramento County. And I found it and I sued them and we won in court. Took about a year, so I got him for theft of intellectual property, theft of actual real property. And about 2 weeks ago, we had the Sheriff's Department go in and seize their assets and sell them at auction.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story, man. Well, I'm
glad
it worked out, because I don't like see people getting done wrong and not getting justice.
Yeah, it did hurt my business quite a bit. They stole millions of roaches and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it stole, you know, what I was going to sell and then what I also had to replenish to kind of keep going as the market grows. So we had to stop advertising and just kind of cut back, just to kind of keep up with the customers that we do have, and really couldn't build a business for about a year and a half.
Wow. So you're kind of rebuilding right now almost? Or?
We're actually back up. We're back running up. Yeah, we had to take over that hump. You know, I wasn't expecting that. And you know, when you have something catastrophic, even if it's a death of anything, you know, if it's theft or death, you have to recover. And it's not like I can go out and buy 1 million dubias anywhere. You know, where do you go? At crickets, it's really easy. If you have a cricket problem, you can get 1 million crickets easily. 1 million dubia, 2 million, 3 million, you can't get it.
How long have you guys been doing this?
I've been doing this since about 2008. I started in about 2015. No, sorry, 2005. Actually, what happened is I'm an engineer at Intel. I was retired, and I wanted to start a side business. I went into reptile breeding, and went to the first. Been a long time since I went to a SAC show. So went there in 2005. Bought some bearded dragons. Bought some dubia roaches online. Started working with the bearded dragons. Got to know the bearded dragon breeders. Started sending them dubia roaches. They wanted more dubia roaches. They noticed how much better their animals were doing on them. And you know, I was working a full-time job and dealing with, you know, people on the phone calls. Hey, what is your bearded dragons? You know, what's the parents look like? Can you send me other pictures? Can you send me updated pictures? You're always on the phone. It was very hard to do that with the full-time job. And so I decided that I'm going to go into the roach breeding business. I figured they're expensive. I wanted to create something, a staple in the market where people can buy them and not have to really worry about it, get them cheap. Hopefully I can get other people interested into them so we can have more breeders in the market, so that if I do have a catastrophe, I can go out and buy them, at least not be completely starting from zero. Not that I can go get a million roaches, but at least I can get, you know, 50,000 here, 100,000 there.
So you got different species here? Or
they're all the same species, different sizes. So, you know, baby bearded dragons would eat, you know, something smaller. And the nice thing is they don't jump like crickets do. So you can, you know, hold them up like this and they're fine. They stay on the container pretty well. They don't climb glass or plastic, smooth plastic. They have a 2-year lifespan. And the nice thing is you can order them online in bulk, get a good cheap rate on them, and they don't die very easily. So you're guaranteed to pretty much feed them all off.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, that roaches would be the one thing to survive a nuclear holocaust.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So these are more of the larger nymph sizes. These are about 1 molt away from being what you have in your hand right here. So these you feed to like bigger animals. Again, they kind of.
I've seen people doing breedings in like tubs. They can leave the tops open because they can't climb up the sides.
Right. The males will tend to hop out, but they tend to hop back in, so it's not too bad.
So dubia, so they don't fly.
No, the males can fly a little bit.
A little bit.
If it has higher heat, they can fly a little bit more, but they tend to like to stay in the colony, and they'll bin hop. One of the things I really like about the dubias is they're very friendly, I would say. So where crickets are very aggressive, so I have spiders, tarantulas. I'll dump in 100 dubias in the cage and leave them alone, and they don't bother the tarantula.
Gotcha.
They'll actually curl up with them and hang out, and then the spider will wake up and say, "Oh, feeding time," and I never see them because they stay in their hole. And so the ones that are wingless, they call them wing stubs. Those are the females. They have a 2-year life expectancy, where the males at the wings have a 1.5 year.
That's a long life for an insect, isn't it?
It is. It is. Which is really nice if you buy them in bulk. You buy 1,000 of them. You have one animal. They'll grow with your animal as your animal grows, and they won't die, and save a lot of money that way.
Is that all right if I handle one?
Yeah, absolutely.
These are definitely different than like the roaches, like those black roaches you see crawling around that are, you know, like local roaches,
right.
I guess. That.
Yeah. The nice thing, roaches really get a bad reputation. Less than 1% of species actually will infest your home or breed at room temperature. These things require a little more heat to breed, so they're house safe.
Wow, and because I usually, to be honest, roaches have freaked me out. Like, you know, they're like alien world. They freak me out when I look at them, and these ones are kind of cute.
Yeah,
that's
people make pets out of them. You know, I've seen someone do them. They add some little gems on it and a little gold chain on it and wear it on their shoulder.
Cool, man. I feel bad because I'm gonna get a tat. Just like this is why I don't get live. Oh my gosh, that's why I don't get live rats.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, okay, now I have to feed you to something else. You get some nice shots over there, Riley? Well, shoot, man. Thanks for coming over and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Where is your facility locuted?
It's in Sacramento area.
It's in Sacramento. Okay.
Yeah. And so we ship everything online. We do shows and ships in some stores we're in. So we'd have cup solutions we send out to other people.
Awesome, man. You guys are probably feeding a lot of reptiles out.
We feed a lot of reptiles. We sell a lot of roaches.
Yeah. Well, it's important, man. I'm glad you're there supplying. You know, nobody wants to be keeping reptiles and having trouble finding food for them. So
it's one of those things that's not the most sexiest job. Everybody wants to do the lizards and the most, you know, the newest morphs and things like that. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff about insects. First of all, no one calls you on the phone asking you to take pictures of them. You really don't have to deal with a lot of phone calls unless something's wrong. That's about it. So it's pretty nice not to have to deal with a lot of people all the time.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
Well, thank you very much. It was good meeting you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob, for doing the interview and for showing us some information there that I didn't know about. I always love to learn more in these interviews myself. There's always a big benefit to doing these interviews is I get to learn. Next week, we're going to be talking with Mr. Jeff Kelly of El Segundo Pythons, who I believe is just starting to revamp and re-upload and refurbish and start having his YouTube channel going again too. So, yeah, until then, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care. What's that?
I'm talking to my friend. He's my coach. He's coaching me. And it took about 3 years to build the colonies. I couldn't buy the roaches to start a business, so I bought an initial 2,000 of them.
We're gonna have to wait for this guy to We have to wait for Phil to do his thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be all over the audio.
50-50
Yeah.
Oh, and I have tickets too.
You have them with you?
No, someone has them over there.
Okay.
They're watching for you?
Yeah, they better be.
Or maybe that's just a heads up that it's happening soon. Okay, so 2000. So go continue where you were. 2000. It's happening. Come on, Phil. I'm off by 5.
I should have bought 5 after you.
I was gonna buy you 5 too.
He's falling right now.
I know. It's all right. It's all good. Dubia roaches. Bring it a little lower, closer. Welcome to the wonderful world of smacking yourself in the face. Let's see, what am I? Okay, talking points. Obviously the guest. We're gonna have animals. Ooh, what do you think is a good animal? Where do you draw the line in animals? What is an animal? What is not an animal? Oh, who are we talking to next week? Gosh dang it.